Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official U of A debit card, voted Best Bank Credit Union and Best Debit Card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Welcome to another edition of Wildcat Weekly with head coach Sean Miller. Cats have one game this week, but it's a big one, the season finale in Tempe against Arizona State. Before we get to that, Coach, split on the weekend against the LA schools, beating USC and losing to UCLA. Let's start out with the USC game and some of your highlights out of that contest.
Well, we knew before this week began, this past week, that it was a big week for us and that we're playing against one, what I would consider, great team and one NCAA tournament team. And, you know, SC has an abundance of talent. And coming into our game, they were playing very, very well. So they have an incredible pace, the way they play the game, Brian. And you know, for us, I think for the most part, we did a very, very good job. We attacked their zone well. We were efficient. We played good defense and made plays when we needed to. And I think that set the tone for the UCLA game. And you know, you play a team like UCLA, even after our first game against them, in which we won, you know, you have the sense that playing them, you have to be at your best. And when we played UCLA at home, we had good moments. We did a lot of things well in that game, but we weren't at our very best. And the fact that they shot 13 more times than we did in the game, you know, sometimes basketball, you can boil it down to the team that gets the most good shots has a big advantage. And that's really what happened. 13 more shots. With as efficient as their offense is, we actually defended them very well. When you consider the points they scored and the percentages that they shot, the difference in the game was they got more offensive rebounds than they usually do, and they took what usually is our strong suit away from us, and that is that you finish the possession with one shot, defensive rebound. So that, and then in the second half, as I've looked back on it and we've watched the game closely, you know, they played their zone 29 possessions, and we scored 31 points in 29 possessions. It's actually pretty good. What didn't feel good is when they went to it for the first time in the second half, we went 1 for 8. We had one successful possession in the 8 in a row. Simultaneous to that happening, they caught fire on their offensive end. So as their offense and scoring was going this way, we hit a rut. And when you hit that lull against their zone or hit a lull executing or shooting the ball, they're a very difficult team to beat.
When you go back to the rebounding and their second chance points, how do you instruct your team? Is it just a matter of they went after the ball more, or the ball bounced to them? How did you break it down?
You know, there was a lot of long rebounds. You know, sometimes it was their guards that got the, you know, Holiday had a big offensive rebound and put it back in. You don't usually have a guard of his size in their offensive rebounding. But to UCLA's credit, their pace and their movement really spreads you out. And as we're spread out, shot goes up, you know, you're really accountable to blocking out your man. And like you said, Brian, sometimes you just have to give great effort and run the ball down. I don't want to act like we didn't try, or, hey, let me tell you, nobody wanted to win the game more than our players. But they did beat us to several balls, and they were the more aggressive, physical team. And in some ways maybe wore us down, which hasn't happened a whole lot to us. And I think this break hopefully comes at a good time where we have 5 or 6 days to both improve and get ready, but also I think to be smart with how we're practicing so that we can be, I think, the most rested and healthy we can be here on Saturday when we play at ASU.
When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier, offering tools to organize your finances and keep your payments up to date and you on track for your future. You also want a financial institution you can trust and cares about the things you do. For 60 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community, investing in the causes that make our area a better place to live. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Wildcat Basketball Weekly continues, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Show your Wildcat spirit with a U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
All right, Saturday, Wildcats Sun Devils, always a great rivalry. But first things first, your team has a chance to clinch at least a co-championship in the Pac-12 with a win in Tempe. That's always at the top of every team's list?
It is, and in McHale Center on the wall, there's a list of every Pac-10, Pac-12 regular season champion, and on that list, it doesn't say you were the 2 seed in the conference tournament, or you won it by yourself, or you shared it. You won the conference, and that's what's at stake. And to be able to say, especially in this year's Pac-12, that we won the Pac-12 regular season championship with Oregon, probably, I think that would be a job well done and a really tough task. And for us to do it, we have an immense challenge because we're playing at our rival, we're playing on the road. Conference games on the road are difficult. And it's the last game of the year for both of us, regular season-wise. And we're going to have to kind of a similar mentality. To win that type of game, you got to play great. And I think that's what we're trying to do. It's not about we got to be tougher. It's not about that, hey, this is ASU and this is our rivalry. This is about us doing the best we can and playing the best basketball that we possibly can next Saturday. And everything that we do to get ready for the game, that's what it's about, performance. And at the end of that game, if we can look at ourselves and feel good about our performance, then we move on.
Your team is 8-1 in true road games this year. Why have the Wildcats played so well away from home?
Well, I think that we're a consistent defensive team for the most part. We certainly have our moments where we could be better. Defense and rebounding are two constants that on the road I think they have to be present to put yourself in a position to win. In those 9 road games, I think if you look at our team defense, you look at our rebounding, it's not as if we're a team that just plays better defense at home in front of our home crowd. We're a consistent defensive team and rebounding team, and I think that's number one. Number two is we steadily have cut our turnovers down. When you're on the road, you certainly don't want to be a high turnover team. You go on the road and play with 10 or fewer turnovers, you give yourself a great chance. And I think for the most part, when you look at our team, we have guys that play the same on the road or at home. Once in a while, you have those teams or a player where he's one way in McHale and he's another way away from McHale. That really hasn't been the case with this year's team, and hopefully that'll be true when we play our next road game.
All right. Wildcats Sun Devils Tempe, 2 o'clock is tip-off at Wells Fargo Arena. That will wrap up the regular season before we head to Las Vegas, and we'll see you next time on Wildcat Weekly.
Thank you for watching Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the free U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.